Picking up from where we left off.
I think Sam, once we're live, I'll I'll just like acknowledge. Okay, and we're live. Just want to acknowledge that we've been having some technical difficulties, but we are so back. Um, Now we're on a third link. Because I thought when I paused the other one, it would bring me right back there, but it didn't. And you know what? I guess we can just start from the top of the show. I think that could be really cool. And you'll just pretend that everything I said is the first time you're hearing it. Yes, we've had some technical difficulties, but that's not going to stop us. We're queer, we're here, and we are going to put on this live reading against all odds. I Are we ready for part two or take three? Third time's the charm, everybody? Woo! Okay, thank you all for bearing with us. We are the Future Perfect Project. We are not a software development company, but we do have a lot of love in our hearts. And tonight we are hosting a live reading for our debut anthology, From Here We Build. This is a collection of queer youth poetry and writing that's been collected over the past 5 years from our Writers Room workshops, which is a free online drop-in workshop for queer youth 13 to 19 to stop by and write and share their feelings and express themselves however and whoever they are, regardless of writing experience. And we're going to hear some of the works from this anthology out loud tonight at this live reading. Um, the Future Perfect Project believes that the expression of queer youth is a declaration of a better future for us all, the artistic expression too, and just expression in general. So we're so grateful that you being here means you agree with us and you're helping us to amplify the voices of queer youth. And we have a lot of other programs that do that very same thing. But we're here tonight to talk about the book and celebrate these authors, many of who are being published for the very first time, which is very exciting. So I will hand things off to our incredible editor who um, worked with each of these youth directly to refine these pieces and really make them sing. Sam Rose Preminger.
Thank you. So I've said this once before, and I will say it again because I still mean it. It was an absolute honor getting to work on this anthology as an editor. I am so thankful for all of the poems in this book, for the labor that went into them, for the multiple drafts and the late night revisions. And I am humbled by the courage of our contributors, putting themselves out there, both as poets and as queer people, both of which take a lot of guts, a lot of chutzpah. And lastly, when I say I'm honored, I also am trying to say that I am so elated to get to share in your abundance and your imagination through these poems. I'm sure that all our contributors know this, but as queer people, we are often faced with the erasures of both our pasts and our futures. But through writing like this, you are actively reclaiming and creating both. Or in Allen Ginsberg's language, you are putting your queer shoulders to the wheel. You are all published poets, and your writing is pushing our world in the direction of justice. And for that, all of you have my gratitude. And now to kick things off properly and start hearing some of these incredible writers perform their work, I'd like to turn us over to our first reader of the evening, if everyone will join me in welcoming Stellan Knowles.
Hello. Excited to be here tonight. Um, just to say a little bit about my poem. It is rooted in the vibrant colors of the original Pride flag by Gilbert Baker and a celebration of queer resilience and becoming. True pride. You say you see me, you cherish me, you just wish I could be a steady presence in our family, a hardy carrier of our legacy. So I try, I show up proud, only for you to cast me away. In the depths of your attic, I whistle a solemn tune. My mouth goes dry as my tears collect dust. I am boxed in, buried, and forgotten. Summer turns to winter. I notice the items surrounding me begin to shimmer. A hot pink sash once placed over a black and silver suit. The orange t-shirt I wore to the family reunion, full of people I'd never met. Connection and healing at the Black Trans Advocacy Conference. The yellow bottle of lemon soap I was gifted for serving as a storyteller on a sunny Saturday during Trans Awareness Week. The green hiking shoes I wore to traverse the ranch. It was wet and cold and worth my while, exploring masculinity in the mountains of Colorado. Turquoise paintbrushes used to compete for a trans and disability art show. A flower struggling to stay rooted and petalful in the acid rain. The velvety indigo bag containing a harmonious relationship with my body. Before tea, I wondered if I would ever appreciate a mirror. A violet weighted eye mask which once smelled heavenly. I began using it after top surgery when sleep wasn't easy. It still soothes my spirits now, almost as well as my lovely girlfriend, now wife, Violet. After acknowledging everything in gratitude, I rise to my feet. Lemon and lavender whirling round me, paintbrushes brandished to clear the musk, the shirt and sash slip over my head. I lace up my shoes. The medicine bag glides as if pulled by its drawstrings. They wrap my wrist and lead me to the window. I open it and fly on the wings of pride. Thank you.
Thank you, Stellan, and congrats on your marriage. Hello. Love that. Love that lore drop. We are going to continue this amazing evening of reading. Thank you, Stellan, for starting us off so strong. The next author we're going to hear from is Parker McKenzie, reading their piece, I Watch Girls Build Houses, which can be found in the document I just linked in the YouTube chat, or if you got the book, page 28. Parker, take it away.
Hi, I'm Parker. I wrote this poem, I guess just about my experience of like loving women just in general. Um, that's basically where this came from. I don't have anything else to say about it, so I'll just start reading it. I watch girls build houses, not of clay nor straw, but of smiling, talking about her favorite things with glistening in her eyes, and it makes the world go round. I watch girls build houses, not of stone nor brick, but of recipes. Drop baggage, shoes off, stretch out on the couch while she boils a pot of love. I watch girls build houses, not of wood nor cement, but of trying to step in time with the beat of the music instead of the anxiety of the mind. I watch girls build houses, not of drywall nor plywood, but of free tampons and toiletries, sitting in circles on the floor. Toxic shock syndrome? Nope, not in a million years. I watch girls build houses, not of tissue paper nor ribbons, but of giving. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. What else can I say? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I watch girls build houses, not of bracelet charms nor hair ties, but of holding hands, understanding how and why you don't want to talk, you just want to cry. I watch girls build houses, not of special creams nor mirror shards, but of example, scold every surprise wrinkle, and I have decided that I will do the opposite. I watch girls build houses, not of trampolines nor doll houses, but of secrets. Now that I'm older, I understand why they always felt like a sacred oath. I watch girls build houses, not of fragile altars nor prayer beads, but of sacrifice. the paintings of Mary first holding God's Savior, then holding her dead son. I watch girls build houses, not of ice cream nor heating pads, but of emotions. Men shame and degrade, but they still come to us to feel human. I watch girls build houses, not of picking fingernails nor hiding in closets, but of screaming, writing out as adults how their childhoods were stolen, and then reclaiming them. But it doesn't quite fit where it once did. I watch girls build houses, not of prison bars nor court hearings, but of days, sitting in loneliness or unhinged chaos, always waiting for something. I watch girls build houses, not of vanilla ice cream nor full-length skirts, but of power, posing in windows lined with neon red lighting, and her subtle movements beckon men to pay for every time they called a woman slut. I watch girls build houses, not of pretty dresses nor pretzel bags, but of courage, walking into the first day of kindergarten or an abortion clinic down the road, and finding ways to make the best of something scary. I watch girls build houses, not of hospital gowns nor shallowed breathing, but of persistence, exhausted physically and mentally, giving birth on the second floor or receiving treatment on the fourth. I watch girls build houses, not of big muscles nor wall leaning, but of staring, hearing them describe the colors of eyes like melting into a handmade quilt. I watch girls build houses, not of hard hats nor paint rollers, but of imagination. Let's paint the ceiling with clouds or stars and ignore everyone who says it's childish. I watch girls build houses, not of 10-inch heels nor sparkly eyeshadow, but of strength. Go out into the world wearing bright pink to the grocery store and telling perverts to fuck off. I watch girls build houses, not of gavels nor thick folders, but of persistence. No matter what the law says in this patriarchy, it is and will always be my body. I watch girls build houses, and everyone rolls their eyes. Like they already know that. Because we've all seen a woman get up in the morning and hold her head in her hands every day for decades. But I wish they could see what I see, what I've watched women do. I've watched them build houses till I fall asleep, dreaming of how I'll build one too.
Wow, that was amazing, Parker. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's keep it going in the comments for Parker. And I will start introducing our next reader I'm very excited to hear from. Up next, we have Sam Silva reading his poem For Her, found on page 63 of your book. Take it away whenever you want, Sam.
Writing has always been a very important part of my life. I did my first book when I was 5 years old. It had no words, it was just drawings, and it was a story of me traveling to the past with my favorite plushie. My mom helped me cut the pages and tie it up with yarn. Writing and storytelling has always been a crucial part of my life. And unfortunately, for a long time, I felt like I wasn't worthy of it, that I didn't have the talents for it, that my voice shouldn't be heard. And now I write for that person who felt like they didn't belong. And so this is for her. When I was born, a nurse told my mom I would be a stubborn person. Something about how my hair was beginning to grow indicated how I sorry. When I was born, a nurse told my mom I would be a stubborn person. Something about how my hair was beginning to grow indicated I would have a strong character. I wish I could find that nurse, ask her how she realized. I remember being 4 years old on the school playground, accidentally learning about the binary for the first time. Before that, my parents had learned the Norse was right. My hair had sealed my unruly behavior. But there I was, and some classmates screaming at me to be a girl. I was 9 years old when I got my first death threat. It was accompanied by 2 broken ribs. My voice was stolen that day. I was told it was my fault. If I was normal, stuck to what was expected from me, nothing would have happened. they didn't know I can do that. I found a photo, probably 2 weeks after that. I was showing my new Chewbacca mask. I didn't understand why I couldn't go to school. I was just happy with my mask. I spent nights completely lost, taking notes of all the flows I wish I could make disappear. I created a new mask, one made out of fears and tears, one made out of the death threats and broken bones, a mask that took me years to take off, a mask that fell with the soft hum of strands and tears of joy falling to the ground. For the first time, I saw my hair grow back from the start, saw the reminder of the kid I was, the one who ran around without understanding what awaited her. I write for her who I couldn't protect.
Keep it going for Sam. I'm so glad you were able to share. I've been writing with you for so long in the writer's room, and it's been so great watching you grow up and grow as a writer too. So thank you for sharing. And you have a lot of love in the chat, by the way. So yeah, we got a lot of love you, Sam, hearts, woohoo. So the Sam's fans are in the house. We'll need to make up a name for like people who stand Sam. Salmonators? We'll see. Okay, while we think about that, our next share is going to be from Seon Park, who is reading their piece Minor Second, which can be found on page 57 in your book or in the shared Google Doc I keep posting in the YouTube comments. Seon, take it away.
Yeah, this poem is called Minor Second, which is an interval in music. It was based off of the prompt in Writer's Room about harmony, and as a musician, I don't know, it just felt very special to me. This is about my relationship with my mother, which isn't the best, but it works in the way that it does. Any two or more notes played simultaneously is called a harmony. I stepped from you, another note for the family chord. We play in dissonant harmony until one of us dies, or until I'm cut from your life, cast out for crimes against the Father, whichever comes first. So I know when to run, but not how to do it. How to speak, but not in your language. Where home is, but not when I'm honest. How to love you through the half step. Because any two or more notes played simultaneously is still called a harmony.
Ooh, keep it going for Seon. I remember when I first read that poem and was totally wowed, and I'm still totally wowed. It's gorgeous. Thank you for sharing.
And we wrote it in a harmony workshop. Was that the theme of the workshop? And we played a lot of different intervals and talked about dissonance and crunchy notes. It was very cool.
All right. Our next performer for this wonderful evening is going to be Helix Carpenter, who will be performing a manifesto in an epistle, which you can read along on page 9 of your books.
Hello, June or Helix, and I wrote this as just somewhat of an attempt to rebuke all the pain that I go through. Growing up the way I did, I went through a lot of bullying because I wasn't normal, and it's greatly affected me to this day. And this was kind of just, as I said, a rebuke, telling off the dark thoughts, manifesto in an epistle. Hey, you thieves. You once thought you owned me. Maybe you did, but that was rare. My body is mine, mine alone, and hell, is it beautiful. You may tell me I'm wrong, that the little indents and curves formed by my smiles and silly faces make me worthy of hate. that the way my stomach bulges is an embarrassment. You've turned my journey hard, I'll give you that. But I have made it. You won't steal my happy ending. The temple you have raided for these 3 muddy years, I now steadfastly control. This temple lets me cry, lets me accept my stargazing brain and my humor and my love. An appreciation for uncommon topics, the invisible lines between countries, the Wikipedia's 11.5 Calibri font, the soundtracks of niche video games. This temple lets me admire the ways I've gone, the distance I've traveled, so much so that I don't regret anymore. You won't take more from me. You may throw my past in my face, and I may be uncomfortable, but I don't retch at that thought. I made my mistakes. Mistakes are the human way, and I make mine up 1,000-fold. So yes, I love myself. I love my body. So yes, I dislike my past, but I won't disown it. So yes, I still hurt, but not because of you. So yes, I am happy. I won't let you appropriate it. So yeah, people love me. I'll never face you by myself again. So hell no, you don't own me.
Give it up for June, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing that. I remember when you wrote that one, and I loved seeing it evolve. These pieces have not only been they've been worked so hard on by these young people in writer's room, just showing up to this online writing workshop and working through these pieces, and then through a bunch of edits with Sam, and through a lot of, edits between just the writer and the page. And so I'm just really proud of the evolution of all of these pieces, and I've really loved them in every single stage. So just wanted to say that.
It's also interesting looking at it from now, just as a little comment.
Yeah.
The present, these are thoughts from, I think, 2 years ago, something like that. Year and a half. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's so great. I'm thinking I definitely want to talk more about that later. So like I said earlier, these pieces were written between 2020 and 2025, and a lot of things have changed in like not only these young people's writing styles, but these young people in general and who they are and how they identify. And so this is almost like a time capsule of who they were when they wrote it, and editing these pieces from years ago as their present selves is a whole other type of self-exploration, which, please, if you have any questions about that, I certainly have questions, drop them in the chat on YouTube and we will get to them at the end of the reading. But let's keep it going. We have our next piece from an author named Evan Kazlaz, who will be reading The Rhythm of Memphis, which can be found on page 14. And Evan, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you reading your piece, The Rhythm of Memphis, from Memphis? Could it
Yes,
be?
I am. I am. I wrote this piece about where I live, Memphis, and the prosecution we face from Tennessee legislator, and I also wrote it for myself as a queer kid and the prosecution I get from Tennessee lawmakers. And it holds a special place in my heart. The the rhythm of my heart aches for Memphis to be great, a place Tennessee lawmakers hate. Tennessee don't care about Memphis or me. Tennessee wants Memphis to leave. Have you sat in that house of lies? The rhythm of Memphis ain't seen in those hallways of laws. A ping pong from my representatives to the ones in Fayette County. They sit in their majorities and Memphis' voice is sworn to not be heard. Shelby County votes are always trumped by ignorance. HIV rates are on the rise and the governor cuts ties. My lawmakers smile and say, absence is key, so HIV is something that we shouldn't see. Memphis still skyrockets with these new cases that shouldn't be. Tennessee removes funds, and Memphis has to learn to be on without this huge support. The target is trans kids these days. In that house of lies, they listen to mother after mother say how without trans healthcare, their child would not be here today. They listen to teens as they tell their stories. They listen to doctors, but they do not hear us. Too buried in their biases that want to squash our queer hearts to care. On Sunday in Memphis, I sit with trans kids like me. Together, we create a rhythm that is consistent and safe. On Monday, I sit in a place that doesn't care about them or me. A place where the rhythm is ruthless and cold. My life will always tell me to write. I have been too quiet and I can't anymore. My writing and voice will help push Memphis forward. Too many years of being quiet, and I burst. My heart belongs to my city, my home, Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow. Let's keep it going for Evan. Oh my gosh. I love how you are speaking up for yourself and for your community. That is so brave and necessary. Gorgeous piece. Thank you for sharing. All right. Coming up next, we're going to jump to page 67 of our books for Lily Thomas, who will be performing her piece on jealousy.
Hello, I'm Lily. I wrote this based on a prompt that was write about a feeling, like from the inside out. And got to thinking about how jealousy is such a fire, like it can really consume you, I think. And I just wanted to explore that feeling in particular. So yeah. It's greed, it's need, it's pain and hunger pains. It's angry, wretched, loud and stifling. It's suffocating, scornful. I shouldn't say this, yes, I know it's wrong. But what else can I do save sing my song and mourn for everything I should have done? My thoughts engulf me in these flames, too bright. They burn like passion through the night and scar my skin, so raw and broken. I'm sorry I confess this to you here. I could ignore it until it sears, twist it into a fight. It's unbecoming lust, my craven urge, my emerald eyes.
Thank you, Lily. Lily also has an incredible sonnet in this anthology that you should check out. Speaking of other pieces in the anthology, there are so many. We have multiple pieces from some of the readers you've heard from tonight. I want to shout out the authors that you didn't get a chance to hear from, and I have them written down so I don't miss anybody. We have pieces from all of the authors you heard tonight, obviously, also from Ari Ochoa Petzold, Veronica Butler, Lily Muller, Pip, Eric Eubank, and Simon Ventura. And Simon's piece, From Here I Build, inspired the name of the anthology, From Here We Build. And a really, really cool thing about the book is the end is filled with journal pages. And each piece at the very end will have a prompt that either inspired the piece in our writing workshop or that the piece inspired. So you can have your own writer's room, write at home, or get together with friends and write from your life together. That's what it says on here. That I think was our last share, unless Lily Muller, do you have a piece you would like to read?
I'm not sure how much time we've saved today, so I'm happy to read, but how much time have we preserved for this wonderful one night only event?
We have time for you for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Surprise, encore.
Surprise. Trying to find something that I've written.
There's a little something I wrote at the beginning of this book about how Writer's Room has been the greatest gift of my life. It really changed the direction of my life as a person. And I'm so, so grateful to Emma, to Celeste, to Ryan, to Julie, to Kiko, to the entire team, to Sam, who's here with us, to all the guest facilitators. I'm going to read the first poem that I wrote that appears in the book. It is on page 38. It's not in the run of the show document because I am a last minute person. But page 38, apartment 111, with thanks to Matthew Burgess, one of our guest facilitators and my mentor in our portfolio development program, which we did many years ago. The cat, pardon me. Someday you will cut your own hair, cut them off. Someone bold-faced sits on the sink watching feathers fall to the bathroom floor. They adjust your hands now and then, move to their own music, pick at the odd ends. Neighbors hear you laughing. You get a headache from the smell of dye and lay down, blue fingertips, smiling. Your roommate smokes, and you watch the fire flickering with their breath through the screen door. It doesn't bother you until their cough brings their laughter, everything to a stop. It scares you. Always will. Their disregard for their days. You don't want to imagine a world without them in it. Still, you pause the movie, make tea with honey, sit beside them in the cool air just a moment. They play music late into the night. Never take out the trash. Wear your favorite shirt without asking. They hate the cats, but you remember your togethers. Doctor's appointments, job interviews, trips back to the town you never felt at home in. All the days determined to derail you. You remember yourself, your propensity to forget everything angry and contrary you cannot contain, and you remember that you love these things. Here is the family you've been looking for all this time. Here is the blood. Someday there will be dancing. Sunlight, rooftop, midnight, barefoot. You will remember the feeling of untouchability. Infinite. Remember, you are forever coming of age. Someday, it will be Sunday. You will be in love and making breakfast, shoulder to shoulder, happy. Smells of burnt butter, sticky maple fingers. You will use the paper dishes, you won't even mind. In this tiny kitchen, this new home, every day is a day of rest. Sit down, sweetheart. Stop a while. Nothing's coming to get you. Thank you. And thank you everyone for coming out tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Lily. Our encore. Lily is also the youth editor, like they alluded to, and there is a letter from Lily at the beginning of the book that you'll just have to buy it if you want to read it. I don't know. I do know you do have to buy it, and we would love for you to buy it. Now we can take questions from YouTube chat world. While we wait for those to come in, June, maybe you want to touch on basically, and anyone else can chime in, what it was like to edit pieces that maybe you wrote a long time ago, or work on pieces that, might be different than the type of piece you would have written today. Because publishing and making a book takes time, and there's sort of a gap between, writing it and then seeing it out in the world.
You caught me at like the worst time as I was grabbing a charger to plug in my phone because it's about to die. So it's like disappearing. This background hates me. Um, and I'm getting off track. When do I ever get off track? I never get off track.
And
But
we love
yeah,
you for that.
so originally when I first wrote my piece, and when I first presented it, it was I think it was for the end of the year, like poem presentation thing, like a couple years ago. I think it was like end of 23. Um, I think it was that. I dedicated the poem to my then boyfriend, and I'm still thankful to him for all the help he had been giving me. Uh, he definitely helped me see a lot of things that I needed to see with my life. Um, And while we broke up half a year ago now, I will forever be grateful to him for doing that. In modern times, I would definitely have written a manifesto in an epistle, um, in a much different way with different themes. Um, I'm not going to dive too far into that, but it's definitely even just a year and a half. Uh, my life has been turbulent and it's changed a lot. Um, but I still like that piece. It still carries a lot of how I was feeling back then, and it's a cherished memory.
Thanks for sharing that, June. And I really like how you can hold both things at once, that, you might have written it differently and you still have a lot of love and can acknowledge the lessons from the original way you wrote the piece and the original experiences. So thank you. We have a question for our very own Evan Kazlaz. AC asked, what gave you inspiration for the Memphis poem? Care to answer?
Hi, Mom. Um, the inspiration behind it kind of started. I've done a lot of activism, and I go up to Tennessee's Congress a lot. Um, and I have sat in those courtrooms a lot. I also have done some HIV advocacy, and I wrote my college final on it, and the research I did through that. HIV is super high in Memphis, and we don't get enough funding, and we don't get the attention we need for the rates to go down. We don't get the education, and it's not going to go down because of that. And it's like all they have to do is help us, and they don't care. And they actively, and then also Tennessee has pushed some of the worst transgender laws ever, and I have dealt with that. I was there for the first youth trans bill, health care trans bill banned, and sitting through that and what they were saying. These guys are supposed to be my representatives. They're supposed to be Tennessee's representatives, and the words that were coming out of their mouth were horrible. I have never seen an adult act like that or say things like that, and watching them with so little regard to human life is just, that's kind of what inspired it, is my frustration and anger over that.
Thank you, Evan. I just want to commend you for caring so much about queer issues and public health and all of it. Something that we've all noticed about this generation is they really know their history, and they know their revolutionaries that came before them, and they care about queer history. And I feel like, I have a lot to learn. I was definitely much more in a bubble when I was in high school. Maybe it's because I was straight in high school. Chew on that one. Okay. Next up, we have a question for Seon. How long did it take you to write Minor Second? I adore the music language you use. Such a great piece.
Thank you. So this goes for a lot of the poems that are written like in writer's room. We usually only have about like maybe 20 minutes max to write a piece. So I guess like 20 minutes. But obviously, there was a very long uh editing process, which was really cool. Um, I think this is kind of a tangent. I don't know. When you like show people, mostly like your friends or your family, your work, the tendency is, oh my God, this is so good. And it's like, do you have anything to say about it? No. But that's why it was kind of really cool, um, sort of for the first time having my like work, um, really like sharpened down. So thank you again to Sam for editing.
Absolutely my pleasure. I was not going easy on any of you, and you all rose to that challenge and ran with it. So it was great, and you should be very proud of the work as it is today.
And we love editors. We need our editors. We say that, you know, grammar and perfection and big words are never like our currency. Honesty is our currency in the writers' room workshops. And so that first 20-minute version of the poem is definitely always celebrated and lifted up. But it's also nice to have, you know, a second set of eyes looking at that, like kind of like raw, unpolished version to be like, how could we take this to the next level? And really, how can we get the point you're trying to say across even clearer? So we can amplify your voice and your vision even more. We have another question in the chat, and we have a heart on fire from Celeste. Thank you, Celeste. Carlos asks, what would be your message for aspiring young writers that haven't yet started their journey? And anyone can take that. Lily, take it away.
I can start us off. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. Out of like the 100 things that you write, probably 95% of them are not going to be very good, and that's okay. They can just be for you. Everything can just be for you. You're allowed to be passionate about things that you're not perfect at. You just have to do it. And if you can find a wonderful community like the one that they have at the Future Perfect Project, I've heard that they're really cool. And that if you're a young queer person ages 13 to 19, you should tune in over Zoom for free. Once a month for Writers Room and their other programs. Yeah, you just have to do it. And don't you're gonna be afraid and you're gonna not like it and you're gonna say, ah, this is bad. You're gonna come back to it. And our very dear Celeste Lucine told me recently that I have to keep writing or the muse will leave me. So just keep doing it. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say.
Let's hear from Lily T.
Like what Lily said, just with any art, you just have to go for it. That's, I guess that's really all there is to it. I mean, it's such simple advice, and people are gonna scoff and say, well, surely there's more, but with art, there's really no rules or regulations. It's just passion. You just need passion and to make something from the heart. And yeah, sometimes it's going to be horrible and sometimes you're going to be so embarrassed, but it's art. That's what art is. And practice, practice, practice. And yeah, come join Future Perfect Project. It's really cool. I only joined like a year ago and I'm here. Yeah.
Thanks, Lilies. Okay, let's hear from Sam and then Evan. Great question. Everyone wants to answer.
First off, hi, Dad. And for me, I think it's don't be afraid. Like, I told that to like a classmate recently, and it was write bad stuff. It doesn't matter if you don't like what you write at the start, if you don't think it's good. It's part of the process, and it's exploring the words and exploring how you like to write. And as you continue, don't stop and push yourself to try stuff out. Like, for example, joining the Future Perfect Project and trying out stuff, experimenting, even if it's fan fiction. Start writing however you like, and as time goes by, you'll start liking it. if not enjoy it all the time.
I think also being vulnerable, like not being scared to do that. I have been so scared to share my writing because my writing is vulnerable. My writing is a piece of me, and putting that into the world seems scary because I don't think anyone else ever feels that way, or maybe it's not factual. And I started the writer's room, and I remember the first few pieces I write, I didn't like them because they just weren't super me. And then I got to the point where I was just like, you know what? I have to actually write something. I'm like, I'm miserable writing this at this point because I just don't like it. And I wrote something and it was just, I was like, yes, this is it. And then I got published, and that fear of, oh, someone's gonna hate you because of your writing kind of went away because it doesn't matter, because it doesn't have to be factual, doesn't have to be true. It just has to be true to you. So being vulnerable, I guess, just not being afraid to show the world that.
Beautiful answer. We have one more question. If people are down to answer. Oh, and Carlos says, lovely answers from all of you. I think those really complement this experience to make your voices heard and enable more young people to do the same. Thank you. Feel very seen by Carlos tonight. We had a question from Patricia Patricia just said, awesome job. But Sarai was wondering, how does it feel for you to be seen and heard in this way? And I love that question because our mission is to amplify your voices and make sure you're seen and heard. So how does it feel? And do you feel like you're being seen and heard through this process?
All I have to say is that it's cool.
Well, I love that answer. Why don't we end on a cool note? Or as Celeste said, true to you in the YouTube chat. How do we feel, Sam Rose?
Hardened, emotional, grateful, full in every sense. This was wonderful. I think we have answered all the questions.
I think so too. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. This has been a selection of pieces from Queer Youth Anthology, From Here We Build, Queer Youth Write from Their Lives. You can pick up a copy wherever you get books. I'm going to drop some links in the YouTube chat so you can get your very own copy. It is the perfect size, as Celeste Lucine said. It fits in a little bag, and it's just filled with everything you could want. Queer youth writing, prompts, lined pages, and it's something I know I'll pick up if I'm ever having a bad day or need to be reminded of why art is so powerful and what really beautiful, honest art looks and sounds like. This is going to be on YouTube for your viewing and listening pleasure. And all of these youth are writers and artists and will continue to write and make art. So your support for them doesn't have to end tonight. Pick up a copy of the book, donate to the Future Perfect Project today. All of the donations go straight back into making programs and publications and things like this possible. And that's all I've got. If you're going to get a book, it should be this one. Thank you to all our authors. Thank you, Sam Rose Preminger. Thank you to all our viewers on YouTube. And thank you to the Future Perfect Project for making this possible. Best summer read, said Sam. Couldn't agree more. I've always thought if you're not a reader, poetry is a great place to start because you just read the one piece and then you actually really want more. And then you blink and you've read the whole book and you're sad, but it's okay because there are prompts and you can, write your own and maybe write your own book. And I'm going to stop rambling now. Thank you all so much. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your night.